Hey everyone, it's Gal on the go. Esther, my dear, dear friend, asked me about my guilty pleasures, and there's really one that I cannot live without, and that is McDonald's French fries.
I love to sit in a room by myself and eat a mango in a really nasty way. Just like the kind of way that you wouldn't want anybody else to see you eating that mango.
I like to go on car sites, cars for sale, and look for deals and look for special cars.
I also have another guilty pleasure. I love to watch The Bachelor.
And yeah, when I'm looking for something, I can really drill down and start looking deeply.
Hello, my lovelies! This is Jenny from Jenny's Fun Facts. We just want to take a moment to thank you so much, P Eats Meal Preps, for sponsoring our episodes. New menu out every Friday, order by Sunday, delivered fresh by Tuesday, and guess what? They deliver to all Montreal surrounding areas as well. Healthy, fresh, and delivered to your door for free. Add them and our podcast on Instagram at p.eats_P as in Peter, R-E-P as in Peter, S. Thanks, P Eats Meal Preps.
Welcome to Noon Hour Out of the Box. This is episode 47. Thank you all so much for joining us. Your constant love and support is so appreciated. A huge thank you to Jenny DeHame, who is the producer of the show and makes all this happen. And a special, special thank you to my co-host, my good friend, and my very, very, very close friend, Mr. Robert D'Alessio. Robert, do you think I've been indulging too much in guilty pleasures?
Absolutely, yes. So you know what? I think we spent so much time on TikTok before we actually came on live onto these platforms here that we're dry. We have nothing left to say.
I've been too busy with all the, the guilty pleasures that I like to indulge myself in. So that's what happened there. But no, we were behind the scenes. We are actually live on TikTok as well as on both our YouTube channels and on, your personal profile page on Facebook. So yeah, we are live.
So TikTokers, once again, I remind you, please come on to either Esther's Breeze or Bobby's Short Shorts. Come on to our YouTube channels right now. Indulge, get into the conversation, and please let us know that you are from TikTok and tell us where you are from. Esther, I must say that I always have an absolute ball. That's not new. But what I want to say is that I had an absolute ball this past Monday evening, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because Rob's Inner Circle, for the first time ever, was broadcast from the Gallo restaurant. And we keep plugging the restaurant. We kept plugging it on TikTok for the past 6 hours. So to the people on TikTok, I'm sorry if I'm repeating again, but for the people who are joining us on our other platforms, Gallo Restaurant is an absolutely fantastic dining experience. You got to go there. The staff is friendly and the food is so succulent. It's located at 5138 Jarry Street East in the borough of St. Leonard on the island of Montreal. And the website that we have here somewhere that we just put up there, it's right over there. So you guys can go, you can check it out. They also have takeout. Esther, this is show 47.
Yes.
And, we've been saying this since show 1. We're creeping up the big 50 or 50th episode, Esther. I'm just so excited.
Yeah, so am I. It's so hard to believe. It was just a little idea that we threw around and look what came of it. We've just been doing this almost every week for the last 47 weeks and just having an absolute ball. And of course, I so love having you as my co-host.
Same here. And when you said 47, I was worried what was going to follow was 47 years. It's where has time gone here? TikTok,
Yeah, it's quite amazing. Yeah. So, I really did enjoy, guys. I was at the restaurant as well for the live show. I partook of it a little bit. And I have to say, Robert, I so enjoyed it. And you were absolutely amazing as the host. You really kill it when you're live and you're walking around and you're interviewing. You were amazing.
Well, thank you so much for the compliment, Esther. But I must say that it's thanks to the great people that I have around me, and such as yourself and Jenny. Such a great team, and you did an amazing job yourself. Just to mention that celebrity chef Peter Costa, who's got his vegan sauces out, he's got 4 vegan sauces out. He's such a great guy. He was our guest on the show. He appeared on the Dragon's Den on CBC, on the French version, Les Dragons, and he also was on the French cooking show called Souper Presque Parfait. And he was on there twice. The first time he won, and the second time, according to what he's saying, he got cheated out. He came in 3rd out of 4 people. An amazing guy. His sauces are just so good. If you go to the Gallo Nero restaurant, again, he's working with Johnny at the Gallo Nero restaurant and the staff over there. So you can always ask about the vegan sauces of Peter Costa. And also, Gallo Nero also have their own delicious sauces as well that are marketed. So good dining experience, and you get to meet some great people.
Yeah, their food was absolutely amazing. And his sauces are so organic. And I believe most of them are vegan and natural. I was astounded that they were in fact vegan, because they didn't taste like it. And so talk about a guilty pleasure, Robert. Actually, food is probably one of the top guilty pleasures that people indulge in. And yeah, and the food that we had there, for instance, the pasta, the pizza, those are typical of foods that we consider, because we know they're not always the healthiest, but they taste so good. It gives us pleasure. So interestingly enough, that we're talking about this restaurant, and in fact, food is probably one of the top 10, probably number 1 in guilty pleasures that people indulge in. So we put together a little slideshow just to give a little intro about what guilty pleasures mean and what some of them are. So Robert, go ahead.
Okay, so open up the slideshow. So what are guilty pleasures? Well, what does guilty pleasure mean? A guilty pleasure is an activity or piece of media that someone enjoys but would be embarrassed by if other people would find out about it. These might be books, movies, TV shows, foods, etc. Generally, the guilty pleasure is something that might be viewed as shameful by some people, like trashy novels or overdone romantic comedies. Is that it? Comedies?
Yes. So here are the most common guilty pleasures amongst women. So number 1, reality TV. Come on, guys. We know that we love some of our reality TV shows, especially The Bachelor. You know that you watch it. Number 2, romantic movies. Yes, guilty as charged. Number 3, listening to music on repeat. I do that a lot, especially when I'm cleaning. Number 4, indulging in your favorite snacks. So some of mine are rice crackers. I don't know what it is about that particular food, but I can go through a package in one evening. Number 5, calling in sick to work when you're really not sick. Okay, guilty as charged. Number 6, watching other people on their day-to-day life. Number 7, celebrity gossip. Come on, guys. You all watch TMZ. You were all buying People magazine back in the day. Celebrity gossip is a thing. Number 8, binge watching a TV series. I did a lot of that recently, and I'll talk about that a little later. Number 9, relaxing in the bath with a glass of wine. Of course. Well, I have yet to do that, but that's a great idea. And number 10, procrastination. I am so much a procrastinator, especially cleaning, doing laundry, chores, etc.
Why do today when you can do tomorrow?
Exactly.
The day after that, right?
Who knew that I indulge in so many guilty pleasures? And I know that there's some for men, Robert, so go ahead.
Okay, so let's share these. 10 guilty pleasures every man has. Well, the first one is a good smoke, and that could be cigars, pipe, it could be cigarette, it could also be vaping, because that's the new trend these days. New, no, well, that it's been around for over 10 years now, if not more. A good cocktail, a good shave, which I could have used this morning, a good facial, a good movie, a good home cooked meal, a good suit, a good pair of dress shoes, a good accessory, and a good video game. And that's thanks to blog.bullseye.com.
Yes, that's, interesting. People don't realize that men have their own specific guilty pleasures as opposed to women. We think that we all, and there are, of course, ones that are very common. Now, we spoke earlier backstage, and I was telling you while I was sick, yes, guys, I had COVID, and I spent at least a week in bed, and I found myself binge watching these Netflix shows. And interestingly enough, what they all had in common was that they were all high school romantic films, but the twist here is that they were gay romance. So they were Heartstopper was one of them. I watched the entire series, and the other one was The Royals, which was actually very well done. And interestingly enough, they were both from the UK. So I don't know what that was. There is an attraction to high school dramas and the high school series. So, and I would never admit this out loud, but here I am. This is what the show is about. So I was totally, totally addicted. And it's a little bit of a guilty pleasure as well. In addition, I also got addicted to a couple of podcasts. Now, these are very interesting. They're actually podcast broadcasts. You can find them on YouTube. One of them is called No Jumper. Now, Robert, this guy, his name is Adam22. He has 4.24 million subscribers.
Crazy.
And the bulk of his guests are rappers, gangsters, and women who are in the porn industry. That is the bulk of who his guests are. And it's absolutely fascinating. And he's very articulate. He's a bright young man. And these guests that come on, some of them are difficult to understand because their language is a bit different than we're used to. But what's interesting to me was these women who were in the porn industry, or they're only fangirls of that place where a lot of women who were in the porn industry were not able to work during the pandemic. They joined the OnlyFans website where you can subscribe and you can watch photos and films of girls, either in bikinis and doing all kinds of stuff. And you have to pay to subscribe. So these women come on the show and they talk about what they do. And they're very matter of fact. Many of them are very articulate, and it's a business. It is an absolute business. So listening to them is so intriguing to me. And I just found myself totally addicted. And the guy puts out about 4-5 podcasts a day.
Oh my God, how does this guy do it?
He has a staff. So it's his podcast, but he has other hosts that come on. And they put out, they're like a machine. It's unbelievable. And I prefer watching him. He also has another host called Sharp, who is he was a pimp. And he has an incredible personality. I swear to God, he's an ex-pimp. He's incredible. And just the way that he talks and the way that his character is so fascinating to me. So that podcast is a guilty pleasure. The other podcast that I started watching is called Soft White Underbelly. This is a photographer. His name is Mark Leta, and he has a studio on Skid Row in LA. And he brings in people off the street. They could be heroin addicts, meth addicts, prostitutes, pimps, corrupt police officers. That's just an example of the people that he brings in. He has them sit on a stool with a backdrop, and he just lets them talk for an hour about their life. And it is fascinating.
Esther, I'd like to remind on our behalf the audience who's tuned in to come in. Don't be shy. Tell us about your guilty pleasures. We won't tell anyone. We promise you. You can tell us all about your guilty pleasures. You know what? I would like to share with you my guilty pleasures, and I'm almost embarrassed to say this. So I'm going to say it between my teeth. I got sick one time. I was not in elementary, in high school. I was home for a week. I just tuned into the show. It's from Britain. And day after day, I don't know, I just got hooked, and I got hooked. And And to this day, like maybe 150 years later, I'm still hooked to the show. Anyone familiar with a show called Coronation Street that we can see on the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation here in Canada? Well, just to go back to this show, it started back on the 9th of December, 1960, and it is still running. They are still filming episodes. In fact, on the 7th of February in 2020, just before this whole pandemic hit, they put out their 10,000th episode of Coronation Street. And to this day, they have 10,633 episodes that have been.
Wow.
So, if you want to go back and binge watching Coronation Street, good luck. Even if you watch like 24 hours a day, you'll be 150 and you'll be dead by the time you get to episode 10,633. Congratulations, by the way, on our behalf to the people at Coronation Street who are just doing an amazing job.
I remember the show as a child, so they definitely sustained, and it gives a testament to the fact that soap operas are definitely a thing, and people love to indulge watching their soap operas. And some people may view it as a guilty pleasure, but let's admit it that, indulging in your guilty pleasure is okay. I think it's important to be able to do that.
You know what my other guilty pleasure is
What?
When my girlfriend's not looking, I like to dip my finger in that batter.
I didn't know where you were going with that. Okay.
Well, it's in the batter, the chocolate batter. Man, is that good. And I also love, a lot of people probably, they're too embarrassed to say, why? It's chocolate. I love chocolate. I love O. Henry chocolate. I love the Hershey's almond bars. And I also love anything that's Lindt, Lindt. That has to be the most amazing chocolate you can ever get. Especially, I took a liking for some odd reason. Just like wine could be like very dry. Well, if you take the 70% cocoa chocolate, the pure chocolate, dark chocolate, it's pretty interesting. It's what, wine, like dry wine is to wine. That's what that kind of chocolate is. It's very, very tasty and delicious.
Oh, you're absolutely correct, Robert. But in addition to food, I know that you have another passion/guilty pleasure, and that you're actually kind of making a bit of a little podcast in reference to it.
Well, actually, so yeah. First of all, folks, tomorrow night, it's a date. I'm going to be on Esther's podcast as Pilot Bob. That is my, what do you call it?
Alter ego. It's your alter ego.
Innuendo. Where did I get that word anyway? My alter ego. I am a huge aviation fan. And just to give you a little bit of an appetizer, it's kind of ridiculous when you think of it. I became an aviation fan when a DC-10 leaving from Chicago O'Hare Airport, American Airlines Flight 191 bound for Los Angeles, took off in broad daylight from Chicago. And what is very ironic and sad is that for the first time, the airline, they were avant-gardist with this. They had actually on the monitors in front of them, the passengers in the plane, the cockpit view, as you see the plane taking off. But what's sad about it is that the left engine detached from the pylon, ripping out vital hydraulic systems, and that plane crashed. This is back in May 25, 1979. And I became an aviation fan with that. Now, I'm going to explain to you why I became an aviation fan. I have a very inquisitive mind. I always want to find out the whys, the ifs, the ands, and buts. And to this day, I'm still watching Mayday all the time. It's a show all about it, plane crashes and all that. I want to know how we can make aviation safer than it already is. So I became a fan because of that. But then again, my knowledge in aviation grew very much. I know a lot about aviation, all of the different airplanes that exist and all that. I'm just fascinated in how these huge machines, as heavy as they are, just imagine the plane itself. And it's got 60,000 liters of fuel in the plane. We're talking about a 747 here. 60,000 liters of fuel. That is the equivalent of just a swimming pool that is 24 feet wide, 4 feet high. There's 40,000 liters of water in there in the swimming pool. You need 1.5 of those pools there to fill up a 747 with fuel. So just that alone, with all of the luggage, with all of the passengers on it, how these machines can fly is it just totally blows my mind. I'm just totally blown away. So I'm a huge aviation fan. I'm going to be on Esther's show tomorrow night. That's at 8:00. It's going to be on the Esther's Breeze YouTube channel. So Esther, tell us a little bit about your show, because your show is one of my guilty pleasures at the same time.
That's very sweet of you to say. So yes, every second Thursday, I host a podcast called Esther's Breeze, where I interview creatives for the most part, and just people of interest. And it's very relaxed. It's called Esther's Breeze because in fact it's about sitting back and shooting the breeze. So that is our aim, to just have a casual chat. And we always invite people to come in, ask questions, and just sort of hang with us and have a really good time. And you know, that's what we're hoping tomorrow. I know it'll be a great show, Robert. And in fact, when I went to your condo, I remember a lot of bus replicas that you had on display, and plane replicas. So tell me about that collection, because we know that is another one of your guilty pleasures.
Well, I grew up as a maniac when it comes. Transportation in a whole is my passion. I love trucks. I love buses, especially buses and airplanes. I love, and I'm a bus driver right now. I work with the Chrono Group. I transport passengers from one airport to the other. I drive one of those big highway buses. I was a city bus driver for over 31 years. It's my passion. What is it that I like about a bus? What's so special about it? It's the size of it. It's fun. It's challenging. You have to get through streets, through traffic, on a schedule. It's a challenge, and it's fun. And the vehicle is so much fun to drive. And it's like when you hit those air brakes, everybody's like, they get out of the way. They get so impressed with these big vehicles. It's a blast. So yes, I have many bus models at home, especially the buses that I drove for the South Shore Transit System for 31 years. It was a lot of fun. I love buses. I love all kinds of buses. I love those big trucks. I love tractors, construction sites.
That's interesting.
I can get one of those fold-away chairs that you can get at Canadian Tire or Walmart. I could put my chair there and watch the tractors work all day long. I'm just fascinated. I love machinery. I love vehicles. I'm a maniac, put it that way. So you know what? I know a lot about tractors too, but between tractors and airplanes, I know more about airplanes. So hey, why not just get an aviation show out there?
Absolutely. It's going to be an amazing show, and I can't wait when it finally airs. You know, as you were talking, I was thinking about when I was younger, how I loved magazines. Fashion magazines, gossip magazines. It was my thing. And I would collect them. I couldn't part with them. Till about 5 years ago, I still had many of my magazines because they were so dear to me. And, you know, if I were to tell you some of the magazines that I would buy, I mean, you know, I was a little embarrassed, but I just loved, especially the gossip magazine. Now, we spoke backstage, Robert. There's one that I know that you indulged in. So tell us about it.
I'm still embarrassed.
Go ahead, tell us.
Okay, the National Enquirer. I don't know if it's still around.
I actually don't know either. They probably have a website for all I know.
I used to salivate over all the gossip in there about the actors and all that, and I was like totally stoked. Oh my God, look at Lee Majors. Okay, so what's his name? Took off with Lee Majors' wife, Farrah Fawcett.
I didn't know that. Okay.
What was his best friend? Who did she end up with? Farrah Fawcett. Anyways, these are like older shows. $6 Million Man, a dispute on set, anything to do with gossip or with celebrities. I was just like, gung-ho about it. I absolutely loved this. So I was a big National Enquirer fan, and I really feel guilty about this one. Weekly World News, I think it's from the same publishers.
Okay.
Of, the National Enquirer. It's tabloid magazine. I remember, I knew it was ridiculous, but still, I would get a kick out of reading hairy boy who looks like a monkey found on the moon, or maybe an oversized snake swallowing a giraffe, and ridiculous things like that. And I was just For some reason, I was just drawn and attracted to that. And there's also another magazine that's still around today. I buy it for the crossword puzzles. Well, actually, I still buy it today. No, I haven't bought it in a while, actually. But every time I go on a trip, I actually end up getting one of those magazines. I forget what it's called, but it's another tabloid magazine and what goes on with the stars and their lives and all that. Because somehow, yes, there you go. Jenny doing her amazing.
Ryan O'Neal, that's right. She's
What
right.
happened is that Lee Majors, a $6 million man who was married to Farrah Fawcett, who appeared in the $6 million man, took off. He was best friends with Ryan O'Neal. He took off to do a film. I got this from the National Enquirer, by the way. So listen, hey, I think it's the truth because there's nothing but the truth in that magazine anyway. So he took off on a movie set and, left Ryan O'Neal take care of his wife. And man, did he really take good care of her. And she ended up divorcing him and marrying Ryan O'Neal. Farrah Fawcett, who was an absolutely beautiful model back in the day, she passed away a few years ago. It's a shame that we lost such a beautiful model and actress. I don't know about Ryan O'Neal and Lee Majors, what they're doing today. They're probably still not friends. I don't think they're talking to each other anymore. Anyway,
I'm not sure Ryan O'Neal is still alive. I'm not clear on that. And yes, she died actually the same day as Michael Jackson. Interestingly enough.
Are you kidding me?
I do
Really?
recall that. Yeah.
No way. Okay.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson. That is another guilty pleasure of mine. I remember just like watching this amazing dancer. And for some reason, he's only like wearing one glove. Like I was just fascinated with this one gloved wonder, dancing and singing. And I used to listen to his songs over and over.
Yeah,
and over
exactly
again.
like what we did on the slide, one of the top 10. So it's not just for women, it's for men as well. The listening to music on repeat.
You see that? What Jenny is saying is true over here. Yeah, take good care of your wife because if you don't, what is she saying here? Bob would probably say, never let another man take care of your wife because your wife may take care of you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, those stories are, old as the age of time in the sense that we saw that in the 30s, the 40s, Elizabeth Taylor on all her different husbands and her took
7 times married.
Yeah, yes.
She married Richard Burton, married and divorced him 3 times.
Right.
And there you go, Jenny as Mrs. Jackson. Yes, indeed. Another fan of Michael Jackson.
Ah, there you go. So, and it's funny because some people think of pop music as being their guilty pleasure. Like, oh, you can't, you could be into classic rock, you can be into jazz, rap, R&B. But when you say pop, people don't have the same respect for pop music, yet it is the most popular genre out there. And I really do love a lot of pop music. So I was a huge fan of Madonna, like big time.
Yeah, she's the one that always inspired me to take a holiday.
Yeah.
So talking about pop, I love popcorn at theaters.
You mean, wait a minute, you mean the movie popcorn that we all love to indulge in, that we cannot find the same taste in any other popcorn out there?
You know what? I don't know. I buy the popular brand of popcorn. I put it in the microwave. I don't know. It just never matches what you buy at the movie theater. And I haven't been in the movie theater like in 1,000 years. If Claudio Silvio Capri is still here, because I know he works at a movie theater, I just wondering if popcorn is, what is it? Is it at $10 now for some popcorn? And after paying all that money for popcorn, sir, would you like to have some extra butter? It's only $2. Like, hey, listen, I paid $12 for popcorn over here. It's like costing me more than the movie. Where is this making sense?
Robert, but the butter is the guilty pleasure. That is the best part of the popcorn.
Of course, it's nice and warm. And when it goes down into your inner part of you, it just goes down nice and warm and soothing. The butter is to make it slide down better into you.
Yeah, that's so true. And let's not forget our all-time favorite, ice cream.
Oh,
my
wow.
Absolute favorite of guilty pleasures. It's funny, when I was sick and I lost my sense of smell and taste, And Fernando, my boyfriend, said to me, "Okay, what is it? I'm going to buy you any food that you want, and let's just get your taste buds going." So I asked for an ice cream cone. So he went out like at 9 o'clock at night, found me an ice cream cone, brought it back. I swear I couldn't taste it, couldn't smell it, but just the texture and the knowledge that I was actually having an ice cream, I still derived huge pleasure from eating it. And then,
wow.
so that was like, yeah, I need a guilty pleasure to get, to some impact my senses. Though it didn't work, I loved every millisecond of it.
So, Esther, I know you're still tuned into TikTok. Just for
Yes.
the sake of our curiosity, how are we doing on TikTok? A lot of your friends tuning in, or where are they tuning from? Just give us a little bit of an example, if you know some of them. In the meantime, I'll be putting up some banners.
So I have one of my friends actually who says, from Toronto tuning in. He's actually a well-known actor
Who's
and
that?
verified TikToker. Well, he's here on TikTok as Sicko 2005. Can you believe that I can't remember his name? Is it Wally? I'm not really sure.
Well, you know what?
He's a great actor from Toronto, and he's tuning in. So, hey, so nice to see you here. This is the behind the scenes of one of the podcasts that I do. It's like I go on Clubhouse on this masterclass about TikTok, actually, ironically. And, in my bio, it says, that I do voice work and acting and podcasting, but no one's ever really seen me in action. So that's great that he's joined us today. So, we've had a lot of people pop in and out. For now, we have about 4 people who are watching. And I've had over, 160 likes, which is great.
Wow, that's
people are appreciating what we're doing, and you guys can see the behind the scenes here on StreamYard.
Jenny put something up over here. Is that?
Yes, I think that's his name.
Dwayne.
Yes. Hey, so you must know our producer, Jenny DeHame. Yeah, it is. It's Dwayne. You're right.
Who doesn't know?
Who doesn't she know? And who doesn't know her? That is so funny.
I'm just saying, it's just throwing this out there, but I have a funny feeling that all of the cast on Coronation Street know Jenny DeHame.
It's very possible.
And you know what? And Michael Jackson probably knew her too.
That's funny. It's true. Yes, you're right. It is Dwayne. He's an absolute sweetheart. I love this guy. And, I actually love a lot of the people who are in that particular room on Clubhouse. So, and, what can I say? Clubhouse, maybe that's one of my guilty pleasures. When there were all the lockdowns happening, I discovered this audio app, and it became my source of so much information, my source of networking with people. I even met people that I had as guests on Esther's Breeze, and it was something that I was very much indulging in, but it was something that worked out in a very positive way, and I still have a lot of good friends and colleagues from that audio app. So sometimes your guilty pleasure can affect your other facets in life and actually enhance what you're doing and enhance your life. So this is what I found with that particular audio app.
Did you see our producer's comment?
Haha, they should. My dream would be to cast. That's so funny.
And she would be absolutely amazing.
If she would. I think that she would be. I would actually audition for that as well.
And folks, New Yorkers out there will let you be the judge, because Jenny off camera, but Esther and I love to emulate a New Yorker's accent.
Yeah.
Right now, Esther and I are having some coffee.
Yeah, this is our coffee.
That's our coffee. Guys, are we saying this right? Is this the way you guys in Brooklyn would say that, having some coffee?
I'm getting a happy birthday wish. Thank you so much.
Happy birthday wish. Oh my God, already? It's Saturday.
Yes, appreciate it. Yes, because I talked about it on TikTok that my birthday was coming up. So thank you so much for the birthday wishes. I so appreciate it.
And you know what? So they do give you gifts on TikTok. Maybe these gifts are going to be...
Yes, actually, Dwayne just sent some little fireballs as gifts. So I appreciate it.
What does a fireball mean?
I don't know. They're little, you get roses, you can get all sorts of little little gift icons sent, and each one has a different value. And so that's one of the ways that you could actually monetize on TikTok, is that you go live and people send you gifts, and the gifts have a monetary value. But it's very low. It's just a kind, nice way of somebody saying they appreciate you. Wow, only the very huge TikTokers can go live and like make $100, $200. But that's, when they have a huge following. But that's not the reason really to go live. Going live is more about engaging with your audience and engaging with your community. And that's what, going live is kind of a guilty pleasure for me as well. Sometimes I just go live just sort of impromptu, and it's just to connect with my community, and we just talk about whatever comes to mind. So and I enjoy it immensely, and a lot of people do. A lot of people go live on TikTok in a casual manner. It's not the same like Facebook or Instagram. It's different.
So Esther, if you can handle this, how about telling us what your handle is on TikTok? You know what? Tell me, and I'm going to type it in for our audience.
So it's Esther Brzezinski, ESTHER.
All in the lowercase,
all lowercase. Brzezinski, BRZEZINSKI. So that is, in fact, my.
Is it like an at or a hashtag?
It's at.
At, there you go.
Yeah, at Esther Brzezinski. Yeah, that's it. That's what my TikTok.
I just hope I didn't get any spelling mistakes, folks. If I did get a spelling mistakes here, you guys are going to be the first to notice.
So somebody's asking me, what day were you born? That would be May 14th, 1957.
Oh.
So yeah. I'm
being
asked by Joseph. Thank you, Joseph, for asking.
There you go. I'm going to complete this. And there you go. Esther's TikTok handle is at Esther Brzezinski, not even .com, anything, just at Esther Brzezinski on TikTok. Esther, how many videos do you have on your TikTok?
How many? I'm sorry, how many?
How many videos? There's probably 500,000, but
oh my god! Videos. I would have to go back and check. There might be over 100.
Unbelievable
videos. Maybe even more. I'd really have to go back and check that. They tell you how many followers, how many likes. That seems to be a factor as well. But I don't even realize how many videos I have because I put them out daily. I think that's really important. So this way I sort of keep in touch with my community, and I just like doing it. And they're short, 7 to 12, sometimes 15-second videos. And what I really like is how engaging everyone is. And I make sure that I respond to almost everyone that makes a comment, not a private chat, but comment on the video itself.
Okay.
So that's important to me.
So I'm putting this out there to anybody who's listening, and the TikTok audience is our large audience today. Is there anyone out there who's knowledgeable? Is it possible somehow to have TikTok on our StreamYard platform? If we can add it in there, this is some kind of a trick that we don't know. We would love for you to share this with us. Send the way to do it to Esther, because Esther's got a nice network. She's got a great following. So maybe you can share that with us, and that way we can get our show out, to branch it out to even more platforms and get it more out there.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be interesting. I don't know if it has the capability of doing that, but it would be interesting to find out if we can do that. But I will say, first of all, TikTok started off as a guilty pleasure.
Oh.
I started in the summer to just scroll and scroll, and I was shocked to how addicting it was. And it was through that, through the actual scrolling, that I sort of learned the what worked and what didn't work. Basically, whatever I was attracted to, whatever, I found myself watching or would go back to watch again. Well, there's something there. And I think that's what works. So when I finally did my first video that went viral, it was pretty much very similar to the videos that I had seen, the posts that I had seen on TikTok. And really it was like 15 seconds long. It had a hook from the beginning, and it had a surprise ending, and it was short and sweet and fast, and it had an interesting overlay of a comment. I think I wrote, "Age is not my cage, wait for this," or something to that effect. And that's what worked. But really, it started out as a guilty pleasure, and to this day, TikTok is one of my guilty pleasures. I would have to say Instagram somewhat, YouTube yes, but probably TikTok is my favorite, and it is a guilty pleasure for a lot of people.
Well, folks, just letting you know out there, Esther's got many talents. She's a voice actor. She's a voiceover artist. She's an actor. She's an actress, an amazing podcaster, broadcaster, and she's also an absolutely fantastic influencer. So if you folks have any products out there that you would like,
Oh my God, Rob.
to be shown, to be known,
Now my
Esther
publicist.
is the way to go. She is experienced. She knows her shtick, and she's very, very reasonable. You can work something out with Esther.
Yeah, so that's something fairly new that I've started to get myself involved in. So yeah, I've had a couple of brands contact me, and it's so interesting because something that started as a guilty pleasure that I so enjoyed doing for fun, because really making little videos is just fun for me. I just like doing it, and then to actually start monetizing it, that's crazy. So that's just a testament to say that you can take your guilty pleasure and take one of your passions and actually eventually sort of make a bit of a living out of it. That's quite something. So guys, don't refrain from indulging in those guilty pleasures, because you'd be surprised what you're actually learning, what abilities you're attaining, and in fact you can take that and make it into a side hustle or a way to actually make a living.
Well, here we go. Our producer Jenny has just added this comment over here, which I find very interesting. Esther, the honor is yours.
Well, Jenny's asking, Jenny, who's our producer, can I stream to TikTok from StreamYard? No, we do not currently offer an integration with TikTok. As soon as TikTok allows live streaming from third-party tools, we will add it as a supported destination. Okay, thank you for that inquiry, Jenny. We appreciate that. So yes, it is difficult to do that. It is a third-party streaming platform. Maybe they're just not cool with it, because they like to do things in app. That's what they prefer.
So I take it that Jenny somehow contacted the folks at StreamYard to ask them this question, because that's the most likely source. Good job, Jen, for informing the public with that. So Esther, take a little peek at your TikTok. Who's tuning in? Who's from where? Any comments?
Well, we have Sloan Presley Bear, who just joined us, and
where's he from?
I do not know. Sloan, if you'd like to tell us where you're from, guys, any of you, actually, we would love to find out. We're both based in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. We are live on our noon hour out of the box, and we are now live on TikTok as well. And we'd love to hear a little bit about you guys who's tuning in. So please let us know. So people pop in and out all the time, Robert. That's how it is. And, they can always... Yes.
I've dubbed TikTok as a shopping mall.
Oh, pretty much.
The shopping mall of the social media networks. They pop in, they go to the grocery store, then they're going to go over to the lingerie store and probably pick something up at the video games. It's like a shopping mall, put it that way.
Now that you bring up video games, Robert, that is also very, very much a guilty pleasure for many people. And I believe you indulge in that as well. So tell us about it.
I'm a big, big fan of Grand Theft Auto.
Wow.
And folks, I am the nicest guy in the world. I mean,
he is. I attest to it.
You can trust your daughter, but the moment I play that game, I become an animal. I run over people, I smash them. And you know what? I'm a bad guy with the cops, and oh my God, I just feel so bad. And you get so indulged. I'm telling you, you get so indulged in this. Let's say if I'm playing 3 or 4 hours on that game, I get into my car, and I'm telling you, I swear to you, I could actually, I get the urge of like swerving all over the place and passing everybody. I become a part of the game on the road. I have to talk to myself. I mean, hey, dude, that's a real lady crossing the street. You want to calm down? Like, calm down. Like, it's just a game. So with these games, you can actually get carried away. I am a big fan of video games. I love Grand Theft Auto. I'm also, sometimes I'm just going to steal a bus, but I'll drive it. I'll drive it, and I'm not going to smash into anybody. And I have a lot of fun with that. I might pick up a truck in the game, whatever. And I also love playing NHL hockey on my Xbox. It is so fun. And what else? Geez, video games. Call of Duty. That is It's an
Yeah,
amazing.
that's a very popular one.
Very, very
Absolutely.
popular. Our Call of Duty, Esther, is like we're lovers, we're not fighters, if you'll pardon the pun. Our Call of Duty is to entertain people on our show, noon hour out of the box, and come up with some amazing subjects. And I know that you're directly responsible. If you want to take a look at our show, some of the episodes, and commemorate some of our shows, I remember we had a show on polygamy.
Polyamory.
I knew that.
There's a slight difference, but that's okay. Yeah, you know what? I was fascinated with that as well. Call it a guilty pleasure. I wanted to learn everything about it, and actually, it came from TikTok and YouTube. I started something came up, a video came up. I found it fascinating. I didn't even know it existed, this lifestyle, and I just wanted to learn more about it. So that interest turned into a show, which made you extremely uncomfortable. And I remember that.
We also have other shows on filters. Esther, that was your idea. Filters, the oversized purses. That was my contribution to the show. We also have our favorite show is episode 12, folks. Well, I don't know what you call it on your platform, Esther. On the Bobby Short.
It's cell phone addiction. Yeah.
Cell phone addiction. We identified it as episode 12, cell phone addiction, on the Bobby Shorts YouTube channel. That is our signature episode. You want to go check it out. And Jenny, with her amazing talent on our Jenny's Fun Facts. We also have one of those amazing contributions from Jenny on that episode as well. And what else? Which other show has its a trademark?
That's I always think of cell phone addiction as being the one that was exemplified who we are and how we like to discuss certain subjects. I personally loved the polyamory one. I actually got a great amount of views on it, so that's really interesting, just to show you that other people are fascinated with that as well. And I even got some private messages about it. So sometimes when we do quote unquote out of the box type subjects, there is definitely an attraction.
Well, another show that I enjoyed very well is the one on astral projection.
Yes, that was fascinating as well. Absolutely.
So we have a lot of shows. With today's show, we have 47 shows that you guys can watch. We don't have as many as Coronation Street. Maybe
who knows?
15 episodes a day for the next 100 years. We'll catch up to Coronation Street. Yeah, exactly. Who knows? So, folks, look, we have some time left. You can participate with us. Come and tell us what your guilty pleasures are. If you're on TikTok, maybe Esther, take a peek if someone has shared with us what their guilty pleasure is. If anyone has done it on TikTok.
No, unfortunately, they have not. Like I said, people pop in, pop out. But I got birthday wishes and just people asking about where we're located, etc. Jenny wrote Phone Addiction, best show ever. That's really cute.
Yeah, it is our signature show. I gotta hand it to you, Esther. Yesterday, you were on a webinar. Tell us about the webinar. What happened?
So the webinar was based in New York City, and I it's terrible to say, but I can't recall the name of the organization, but I will get that information. And basically, we talked about going viral on social media. And I was asked all these questions about how that happened, what my background is. We spoke about Noon Hour Out of the Box. We spoke about Esther's Breeze. And just people were, curious about how they can get started. The community was for 50 plus. And a lot of people spoke about their fear of going on social media or not really having a voice or a community, not understanding that there's a community. And, that I spoke about at length. And I was even asked if I was, interested in teaching a course on social media. So that's something I never thought of. It's a possibility. Who knows? Maybe for, a certain community demographic that might be of interest, because I do find people get a little fearful about putting themselves out there where you absolutely should not, and that there absolutely is a huge community regardless of your age and your station in life. There's always a community out there, and you shouldn't be afraid to talk about it.
Esther, the sun cannot go down tonight without us breaking for program identification.
Oh, absolutely. Go ahead, Robert.
You're tuned into Noon Hour Out of the Box.
I just love that.
So do I.
Such a signature. Wow.
That's your guilty pleasure.
It's a guilty pleasure, and it's a guilty pleasure enjoying you, Esther, enjoying your success, where you've come from, where you're at today. And we always say as a joke, this is our stick, folks. We always say as a joke, who cares? Nobody's watching. You know what? We got a pleasant surprise because people actually are watching, and sometimes we are recognized without us even knowing it. Tell us about your recent experience, Esther.
So when I went to the restaurant that we spoke about earlier, the gentleman, what's his name? Peter
Costa, who was our guest on Rob's Inner Circle.
Yeah, Peter Costa. Sorry, guys, I have a name disorder. So Peter Costa sat across from me, and as we're chatting, he turns to me and he goes, "I know you. You're that age lady." And then I realized what he meant. So that was odd. It's not the first time it's happened. I've had other people approach me.
Hang on a second. He went too fast. So he was looking at you and he was being eaten away. He goes, "Oh my God, I know this woman from somewhere. Where do I know her?" And maybe a half hour later, all of a sudden he just yells out, "Age is not my cage. That's you. That's you." It's like, oh, okay. Geez. So Esther really has an impact on our audience.
Well, when you put them out every day, and I don't even think about who's watching. Sometimes there are people watching, and sometimes you recognize, which is amazing. What can I say? It surprised me as well, Robert. It really did.
Guys, always remember, when you think that nobody is watching, someone is watching. When you're taking off your bra in front of that window.
Yeah, be careful of that. That's someone else's guilty pleasure. When I was a young teenager and I never thought much about it, I used to always undress in front of my bedroom window, and my neighbors across the way were watching me. And I found out maybe a couple of years later that I never even thought about it. So talk about their guilty pleasures. I was the source of it. It's kind of creepy, but yeah, that's now that you brought that up. I'm admitting here.
If I'd be a woman, I'd be so paranoid. If I was in a camper in the middle of the woods out of nowhere and there's a little window, I still wouldn't change. Looking out the window, because you never know, that could be that little bug with his little periscope peeking away at you. Seeing what you're doing, spying on you.
Yeah, that's kind of the dark side of guilty pleasures. Unfortunately, that people have certain fetishes and kinks, and yikes, you don't want to be the victim of one of them. So, that exists as well.
Where has this hour gone?
Oh my goodness. We're supposed to be a 15-minute show. How did this happen, Robert?
It is. It's 15 minutes American. 15 American minutes.
That's what it is.
Wow.
Well, I've had an absolute blast. Thank you so much, Robert, for being here and being my fabulous co-host.
And you're great yourself, Esther. Such a pleasure to work with you. A couple of announcements.
Sure.
Stay tuned on May 20th, because Esther and myself, due to popular demand, we're going to be hosting a live show from Melrose Resto, and that's located on St. Lawrence Boulevard. Among our guests is going to be Teresa Picciano, who is a local film producer, a writer. She's an amazingly successful actress. We're going to have Charles McCarroll, who was part of the Lipstick Band back in the 90s. He's going to be one of our guests as well. We're going to have Claudio Silvio Capri doing a comedy number. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be at Melrose Resto, Friday, May 20th. You can show up like even at 6 o'clock. Our show should be going on live between 8 and 9, all depending on how loud the crowd's going to be cheering to get us on. And at the same time, tune in to Esther's Breeze tomorrow night, and I'll let Esther tell you why.
My special guest will be Mr., or should I say Pilot Bob. Robert D'Alessio's alter ego. We'll find out all about his passion and love for aviation, about his new podcast, and just find out what the future holds for Pilot Bob.
There's a lot in store. We're very, very busy. So, Esther, tell the audience where it is that they can watch this show. Come on.
So, if we're referring to Noon Hour Out of the Box, we can watch it on Bobby Short Shorts, on Esther's Breeze, and on Robert D'Alessio's Facebook page. To watch Pilot Bob on Esther's Breeze, again, it's Esther's Breeze YouTube channel. It is Bobby Short Shorts YouTube channel, and on Esther Brzezinski's Facebook profile page. So please tune in tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our live show. It's going to be a ton of fun.
And a reminder pertaining to this particular show, you can get the extended version of Noon Hour Out of the Box every Sunday between noon and 3 p.m. And that's on the accessradio.ca website. That's internet radio, axisradio.ca. You can watch our extended version. We would like to thank very much someone who's very close to us, our good friend,
Jenny Duhame,
the producer of Noon Hour Out of the Box. Thank you so much for doing such an amazing job. Jenny, thank you, Esther, for being such a fabulous and fun, talented co-host, friend, most of all friend. You've become a very close friend in my life. We talk a lot.
We do.
Especially those Tuesday evenings, we spend hours
talking.
talking
That's right. The Tuesday night before the show. So what are we talking about? I don't know. We actually do know, but we like to chat about that. And then we chat about other things as well. And it's always a joy. I always enjoy our conversations.
And a big thank you to you, the audience, on our regular social media platforms, and to all of you amazing, loyal supporters of Esther on TikTok. Thank you.
There they are.
Tuning in as well. And we're going to be seeing you again next week. Esther, as a matter of fact, is there a possibility you're going to be TikToking tomorrow night's show?
You know, that's an idea. I might do that as well. Why not, right? Yeah, I can do that.
It's going to become a new trend.
Yeah, that's right. Behind the scenes of podcast/broadcast. Why not? People want to see what's going on. They want to understand how we do what we do. I'm just sort of gliding my phone so that the people on live TikTok can see the full picture of what goes on behind the scenes.
Well, folks, again, thank you to everybody. We got to sign off because we have other things to do as well. It was a lot of fun on our show. So exciting. We'll see you next week with another great subject. Tune in to Esther tomorrow. Subscribe to both our YouTube channels. That's Bobby Short Shorts on YouTube, and also Esther's Breeze. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your day and get out there on the terraces. It's beautiful. Bye now.
It definitely is. Ciao for now, guys.